Hey there, Blazer fans, and welcome to episode 9 of The Dragon's Den, a podcast for those that bleed green and gold. Today I have two very special guests, Kristen Gardner and Jeremy Hawkins. Kristen was a former cheerleader for UAB and worked in the football office from 2017 to 2018. And Jeremy was the director of player personnel and a defensive analyst for the UAB football team during the return from 2015 to 2018. You'll hear all about their stories about how they got to UAB and what the school means to them and where they are now. So let's get to it. Thanks for listening. All right, Blazer fans, I've got my next guest here on the Dragon's Den podcast. Former UAB cheerleader Kristen Gardner and former UAB director of player personnel and defensive analyst Jeremy Hawkins. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Doing really great.
I'm doing great, guys. Thank y'all for being for joining, and thank y'all for being my next guest. It's a little different having two into one episode, but it's certainly more fun. I think we're going to get a little bit more out of the episode. So thank you guys for doing this again. I'll introduce you guys a little bit. Kristen, you were a cheerleader for UAB from 2013 to 2017, and you worked in the UAB football office from 2017 to 2018. And like I said, Jeremy was the director of player personnel and defensive analyst for the UAB football team from 2015 to 2018. So, and you guys are together now. So I'm going to have to ask the stereotypical question. How did you guys meet?
It's pretty simple. You kind of gave a baseline of when she was working in the office and when I was there. So that last year of her working in the office, laid eyes on her. That's pretty much it.
Okay. So, Kristen, where are you from and what made you choose UAB for college?
So I am from a little small place called Pleasant Grove, Alabama. It's about 10 minutes from UAB. And honestly, going through high school, I was very adamant about not going to UAB because I just had it in my mind that I was going to go off for college and go away from home. But my mother was actually a graduate of UAB. And once it got closer towards my senior year, we started viewing the campus. And I met with David, who was my first cheer coach at UAB. And I just love the feel, love the homey feel. I loved everything about UAB. So I was at first set on going to Alabama, the University of Alabama. And then around that spring, like March or April, I went to Mom and I said, Mom, I think I want to change to UAB. And of course, she was ecstatic, but it was one of the best decisions that I ever made. So that's kind of how I got pushed over UAB. I was kind of against it at first, but then just being on the campus and meeting the people, I kind of fell in love with the city and the place. And that's what kind of got me to change my mind to go to UAB.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've kind of got a similar path. My parents are both graduates, so nice to stay in the family, I guess, a little bit, but I like your decision. Right. Jeremy, you went to college at Troy, and you were a defensive lineman for the Trojans from 2005 to 2008. After you graduated, you were a grad assistant at Troy. Then I had a couple of position coaching jobs at Central Oklahoma and Dublin High School before taking the head coaching job at Middle Georgia State. And for my listeners, a little backstory. I actually interviewed Jeremy while I was in college at UAB for a paper, and we got to talking about his coaching history and his time at Troy and what made him come to UAB. But Jeremy, for my listeners, what led you to the decision to leave Middle Georgia State for the job at UAB?
Well, yeah, it was a situation for myself that would enhance my career, would better help me to network and get to know the coaching staff at UAB, and also help me to just advance in my career and my coaching career. It's crazy how I met Coach Clark, though, because it was a situation where I was kind of, reaching out to different coaches and trying to figure out how can I get my foot in the door. And I actually sent Coach Clark a tweet and asked him to follow me back. And he followed me right back. And I talked to him in his DMs and got his phone number. And we kind of started conversating and talking some ball. And I wanted to come learn some ball from him. And that's kind of what I did. I went over and got an opportunity to meet him and the coaching staff that was there at the time. It wasn't a lot of people because a lot of people was trying to find jobs in other places because they had just shut down the program.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a unique situation for myself. I mean, for me to get on Twitter and ask a head FBS coach to follow me back, and they do it, and things just kind of went from there. Now he had some connection with me, some mutual coaching buddies that he knew, that I knew. So I'm guessing he was able to talk with those guys and kind of get some background on me. But after that, after I met him and met the staff, it was kind of a connection that was really good. It was an opportunity for me to go recruit, coach, hit the road and recruit. I mean, on campus recruiting, director of player personnel entailed all of that, and defensive analysts entailed a lot of different things on the defensive side of the ball. So, and at that time, we didn't have a full staff, so I was allowed to go on the road and recruit. I was allowed to actually, be able to call myself a coach on the field until they got a full staff, and he made me the director of player personnel and defensive analyst. So it was an amazing experience for myself. And heck, I met Kristen there, so it was even better.
That's a great answer. So, what was it like as a coach in those few years before the football program returned? And what would you say were some advantages and disadvantages?
Well, a huge disadvantage was that we weren't playing for 2 years. You know, I mean, that's kind of you're selling a brand, you're selling a product, and your product is, your football team. We didn't have a team, we didn't have a product, we didn't have any facilities. You know, we had, renderings, we had, blueprints, we had plans of a new, facility and stadium and so on and so on. So that was a huge disadvantage. Some of the advantages that we had was that we had a lot of time to recruit. We didn't have a team. We didn't have anything else to do but recruit to get a team. So that was the main objective, to find the proper guys, the proper players, proper student athletes, to make sure that when we do hit that field, we hit that field with a team that's, one, academically they can, be okay. Two, that they can compete, and three, that they can possibly win a championship, if not make a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we did some of those things. We met some of those goals. We had these guys that were good academically. They had to be eligible NCAA, and they made a bowl game. First year back, 8 wins. The bowl game didn't go as planned. I think those kids enjoyed the Bahamas, though. I know for sure I enjoyed the Bahamas, and it was a blessing that we were able to build that program back up to where they are right now. I sit here and look at. I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan of UAB. Um, I still stay in contact with all my guys that are still there that I coach with, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that office, on that field with those guys. Those are good friends of mine. Coach Clark is still Coach Clark. If you know Coach Clark, he is firm. He is strong. He's strong-minded. He has a strong will, and he's going to get things done. He's a winner, and he does what winners do. They win, and he's a great person and a great man. And I appreciate him for giving me my first opportunity to be a Division I coach, to be in that office, to learn from him and the other coaches that I was around. I appreciate him for that, and I tell him that to this day. And so it was a unique situation. It was very unique. It was At times it was hard for me as an individual. At times it was hard for those players that still didn't have a clue how things were going to go when we did come back. But when they saw, some dirt being moved and things actually started, some groundbreaking was going on, some things actually started being built. That's when you get the belief. It's hard to believe in something that's not there, but when the dirt is moving and things are being built, and then they started believing in it, and they started understanding that this is what it is. We are telling you the truth, and we are going to build a new facility. We're going to get a stadium, which they're almost done with now. Everything worked out for the greater good. It was a tough situation. Those 2 years felt like 10 years, to be honest with you, with no football, just practice, 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 scrimmage, scrimmage, scrimmage. But that team was good. They came back, and from not playing football for 2 years and come back and compete like that, that was a heck of a season and a heck of a time. So it was pretty good. It was tough, but it was fair.
Okay. Kristen, what was your highlight moment as a cheerleader? And was it a big game, a competition, something else?
I would say I definitely had two. The first one was at the NCAA tournament, 2015, if I can remember. Um, First round, we played Iowa State. They were ranked number 9 in the country, and they were the number 3 seed. And we had just won the Conference USA championship, and we were super fortunate to make it to NCAA. But to be able to win the first round and knock off a number 3 seed, that is a memory that is embedded in my heart and brain, and was probably one of the best moments I've ever had being a cheerleader. It was so exciting, and it was so much fun, and it was so great to see the school that you are super passionate about be able to knock off a big team like that and be recognized on the national stage. um, I remember us joking about we had broke everyone's bracket that they had made, because they definitely did not have us winning. But that's definitely one of my top memories. The second one I would say is my freshman year, we competed at nationals. And of course, we had the team competition, which we placed fourth, but we also competed in partner stunt competition. And I remember competing with all seniors, and I was the only freshman. And the partner stunt competition is basically you just take one stunt group out on the mat, and they represent UAB, and you compete against other partner stunt competitions from different teams. And we went out there, and me as a little freshman, together with the other seniors, we placed fourth in the nation. So that was definitely a memorable moment for me, just coming on to a new team, um, and the trust and confidence that my teammates had in me to put me out there with those 3 other experienced girls was just a great experience.
Okay. So Jeremy kind of alluded to it a little bit, but what does UAB mean to you guys? Just given your extended time there.
I think it embodies the principles that it really goes by being a family, being loyal. We always say ever faithful, ever loyal. And I think going through the shutdown really put that into perspective, because the community came together. The school, the college kids, everyone just came together for the sole purpose of UAB, and just showing their spirit and showing how much they care about the school and Birmingham and the city. And that really meant a lot to me. Just UAB has really been the foundation for the person that I am today, because not only was it great memories, it was a lot of good lessons that I learned there. And so I hold it near and dear to my heart, because the principles and everything that it stands for is just really something that we use here today, I think, in our lives here in Kentucky. So,
Okay. Jeremy, what motivates you as a coach in college football?
What motivates me? That's a good question. I think life in general motivates me. I didn't come from much when I was younger, and I lost both of my parents. I lost my mom when I was a sophomore in college at Troy. I lost my dad when I was 30 years old. And it's been very, 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 very tough. So going through that in life, I feel like, sometimes you want to make sure that you take care of, well, I know for sure, I want to make sure I take care of my family, the family that we are creating here. And to be able to provide and do everything that they want to do in their life, and just give them a better life than, what I came up with, which wasn't a lot as far as financially, but we had a lot of love for each other. I'm the youngest of five, and we stayed together. We were all we had, and that's still how we are now to this day. So I want to make sure that I'm able to provide for my immediate family, for my children, for my wife, for everybody that went through that struggle with me, and that's my brothers and sisters. So that's my motivation every day to make sure that I'm able to provide and take care of my family um, the best way I know how. And for me, I'm motivated because I get to coach football and make money for it. I mean, it's the thing is, and I say that not being cocky at all, but it's a football game. You go see a football game, it's a game. Coaches get to coach, they get to do what they love and be able to provide for their family. It's a lot of people that get up and go to their job and they hate their job. I don't hate my job. I actually love it. I wake up every day with a smile. I'm happy. I go in the office. We grind it out. It's a grind now. It's a stressful job at times, but I wouldn't be doing anything else. I don't have anything else that I want to do in this world besides coach football. So my motivation is solely on just taking care of my family, being a provider for my family, and my mom and dad, losing them, it's a huge motivation for me. Not having them at times can sometimes be tough, but that's what football is. It's a tough sport, so it just made me tougher. So I'm great, and I'm grateful for it, and everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. This life was meant for me. It's already been written. When I say it's already been written, that's just what God has planned for me in my life and what I had to go through to be where I'm at right now and where I'm going to go. So it's a blessing. I'm motivated from life in general.
That's great. I love that answer, Jeremy. That's awesome. Kristen, I understand that you are still involved in cheer now, but as a coach. So how's that going?
Yeah, so I am actually an assistant coach for the Eastern Kentucky cheer team, the all-girl team, and it has been amazing. Top tier, elite athletes, and I couldn't ask for anything better. The talent here is just outrageous, and the staff and our head coach, Chelsea, she's amazing, and it's just been so great to be able to come here and continue to learn and be under an amazing program where they're building something great here. And so it's so much fun being a part of it. And we talk about it all the time. It's just been great that we're both at a place where we both can do what we're passionate about. And sometimes you don't always get that. So it's just been a blessing to be able to watch him do what he loves, but also put me back in what my passion is, which is coaching cheerleading. So it has been awesome so far.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that y'all are both doing what you love. That's not something a lot of people get to say. So it's great that y'all are both getting to do that. And I know y'all are getting on to bigger and better things. With Jeremy, it's the coaching jobs, and with you, it's the cheerleading, getting back into that after being in it with college so long. So it's great that y'all are both getting to do what you're passionate about. So.
Right.
So Jeremy, since you were at UAB, you are the assistant director of player development at LSU, the D line coach at Mercer, and you're currently the defensive line coach at Eastern Kentucky. So, what is it like being a coach during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Some people actually will probably see it as a hard task, but for myself, I feel like I was built for something like this. My thing is these young men need a coach like myself that has went through a lot in life. Losing my parents, heck, losing my grandparents. It was a time in my life when I was in college at Troy where I lost, you know, my auntie, which is my mom's sister. I lost both my grandparents. I lost my mom, and I lost a very close uncle of mine. It was a dark time in my life, and I needed someone to talk to, and that someone that I talked to was my coach. You know, all my brothers and sisters were all down and out and grieving in their own way. So us talking to each other wasn't what was good for us. We needed somebody that was neutral that could really talk to us, that could really help us and guide us. And that's what happened for me. Coach Larry Blakeney, the head coach at Troy at the time, Coach Mike Pelton, my position coach, and Coach Ricky Logo, another position coach of mine. They split the D line there at the time, and Coach Jeremy Rao, which is now at Georgia Southern. Coach Logo is now at Washington State as a D line coach. Coach Pelton, I think he retired, and so did Coach Blakeney. He retired. So all those guys at the time helped me cope with everything that was going on in my life. I can go on and on about the coaches that helped me, mold me to be the man that I am, to be prepared for something like this. Now, this is unique in its own way. Thankfully, I didn't have any players that, COVID hit home for them. Thank God for that. But at this time in this world, what these kids are going through with COVID, with everything else that's going on right now in this world. I don't have to go into details, but everything else that's going on in this world right now, I think I'm built for something like this. I'm doing what I love to do. I have a passion for what I do. So with me going through what I went through, being able to, guide these young men to be man through this situation was really easy for me. Like talking to them, guiding them through, ups and downs throughout this whole COVID situation and everything else that's going on was something that I was born to do, and thank God that I'm in the situation I am, and thank God for these young men that I got that played that tail off for 9 games this year, not knowing who they were playing this week or that week, or and the schedule was all over the place, not knowing if we had a game, if we didn't have a game, not knowing if COVID's going to shut it down this week and next week we're back on. It was all over the place. This is probably the toughest mental season I've had. The most stress I had to deal with in the season is the first, and I hope the last, as far as stress. But I feel like I took it like a champ, and I feel like going through this helped me and helped my players grow. Um, we all became tighter because of it. I got my guys come to my office and we talk. We simply talk. We just talk. We have a simple conversation about life. Every one of them, they can come there and sit down and we can have a whole conversation just about life and about anything. And they get a lot from that, just to talk to me about life, to vent, to just sometimes they just, want to sit there and just have a conversation with their coach. Now, when it comes down to it, when we get serious and when things have to be done, and things are gonna get done. And when they need to vent, they can vent. When we want to laugh and joke, we can laugh and joke. That's kind of who I am. I'm kind of a father figure for some of them and a big brother for some of them too. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them and with being that for them as long as they perform and they do what they're supposed to do in the classroom and on the field. So it's been a tough season. It's been a real stressful time right now through COVID and everything else that's going on, but I think I'm built for it. It's been good for me and for the players. I think this season has only made us stronger. we're building a foundation here at EKU that is going to really take off here, and I feel that in my soul that it's going to take off. It wasn't a great season, but we played some tough teams and we played some tough games, and heck, I mean, we gave Troy everything they can handle. We lost by 2 points on a last-second field goal to an FBS team that competes for the Sun Belt every other year. So we got something going here. And we beat a top 10 FCS school in Central Arkansas. We split games with them. They beat us once. We beat them once. They beat us once. So we've had some good things happen this season, and we are going to build off that. So this year it's paid dividends for us, and it's been tough, but it's been good for us.
So, looking at Eastern Kentucky's schedule, you guys finished up the season with a big win over Western Carolina in a game, designated as the Opportunity Bowl, in memory of Dr. Sheila Presley, a former dean at Eastern Kentucky and a graduate of Western Carolina. You guys got the big 49-17 win, which included 3 sacks from your defensive linemen. Jeremy, what did it mean to end the season on a positive note, despite all the negatives surrounding this year?
Man, it was a tremendous deal for us. It was very exciting for these young men to go through this season and to have a bowl game to play in and win the bowl game and hoist that trophy up and hold those banners saying Opportunity Bowl champions. Got to give a huge shout out to Raising Cane's chicken. Pretty good chicken, right? They sponsor the bowl game, so Cane's is very good chicken, and I wanted to make sure I put it out there. But it was a huge deal for these kids because, like I said earlier, we are building a foundation, and for these kids to feel and taste success is huge. You can sit here and tell a kid everything's going to be okay. And that kid doesn't have a bed to sleep in, doesn't have a house over his head, a roof or anything. And he's living hard and tough, and he can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you go out and buy that kid a bed and you put him in a home where he has a roof over his head, and now I'm starting to believe a little bit, actions, different events that take place to help you believe. That's usually when you become a believer. I don't know any cases. I just don't believe any case of somebody believing from the very beginning of, when Coach Clark came his first day at UAB, the first day, there's no way 100% of those kids believed in Coach Clark. He had to set a tone, just like we had to set a tone for the next season. That win was huge for us in the off season. All right, these guys, you win a bowl game, you're a champion. You get a bowl ring that says that you're a champion on it. Now you start building that foundation of being a champion. You're going to become a champion in so many other ways other than a bowl game. So we were excited about winning that game. We were truly excited about the play of offense that scored 49 points. Special teams, a kickoff return for 94 yards for a touchdown. Heck, the defense played pretty much lights out the entire night. So it was a team win, not just by my D-line. They played good too, but that was a true team win. All 3 phases played very well. And that's huge for us to go in the offseason with all 3 phases playing like that, and we get most of those guys back. We don't lose a lot. So, and the guys that we do lose, I feel like we're going to make sure, we have to make sure that we replace them in recruiting. So that was a huge win. That was a huge win for these guys mentally, physically, and emotionally through this whole season that, we went through with this tough schedule, the toughest schedule in school history, by the way. It was a huge win. It was a win-win for everybody, the coaches, the players, the university, and the town, the city, the community.
Who've been your biggest influences in coaching?
I already said some of their names. Heck, Bill Clark is one of them. Um, Ricky Logo, which I told you he was the defensive line coach at Washington State. He's my mentor. Um, Mike Pelton, he's now retired. He coached me at Troy. So did Ricky. You know, guys like that I've seen work their tails off for their family and be successful in this coaching business. Heck, man, it's hard to not respect those guys. This is a tough profession, and for them to be in it so long and have done it for so much, for so long, and done it for so many young men, is huge. So they kind of have they don't really know it, but I think Coach Logo knows it and Coach Pelton knows it. I don't know if Bill knows it that well. I don't know if Coach Clark knows it that well, but I think I've mentioned to him before that I look up to those guys. So grateful for Coach Clark, man. He literally gave me my first opportunity to get in the FBS Division One ranks. I had no one was knocking on my door to bring me in the office to work with him. No, I didn't have a name for myself. I was just trying to make a name for myself. He didn't have to follow me back on Twitter. He didn't have to answer my direct message. He didn't have to, but he did, and I'm so grateful, so thankful for that. Coach Clark is a good man and a heck of a ball coach, good husband. I mean, just all around good dude, good guy. And I think people in the community know that, and people that know him personally for sure know that. So you know, Coach Clark, Coach Logo, and Coach Pelton. I appreciate those guys. I do every day, and I appreciate them guiding me and leading me to be the coach and man I am right now.
Appreciate that. That's a great answer. And I'll send it over to Kristen. I'll ask you the same one that I just asked Jeremy. Who were your big influences to get you into cheerleading?
I have to go all the way back to high school. Rachel Johnson, she was honestly the biggest influence on me to the point that I decided to go into education just specifically to coach. And from the time I started in sixth grade, she really set the foundation of hard work, blood, sweat, tears, um, and just working for a bigger goal, and doing it for the person standing next to you more than yourself. And so she was a really big part. And then just getting to UAB and having two great coaches, David Gillian and Ryan Martin, they both just instilled very, very good core values of hard work and just being a team and being so much more than a team. And I still have those same relationships with the people that I cheered with in college today because of those two coaches who really strive to teach us about life and to teach us responsibility and all the other things that go with being a part of a team. So I would say every step of the road in my cheer career has helped shape me into the coach that I am today. I think I've taken a lot from each coach and kind of formed it into my way of how I want to, be an example for the girls that I have, here at Eastern Kentucky and the girls that I've had before that. So they have been just a big part of how I do things now.
Okay. How is and you can answer for the two of you if you want to, but how's life overall in Kentucky?
It is great. I remember coming here, I was really concerned about the snow. I'm a Southern girl, so I do not like being cold, but so far it has actually been very great. The weather has been nice. We haven't had snow yet. We might get a little bit in January. They're predicting a warmer weather here in Kentucky, so I'm very happy about that. But overall, it has been just a great place. All the emotions, mentally, emotionally, and physically for us both. I think it has set us up to be in a great place where we both are able to do something that we're passionate about. We get to wake up every single day happy with our lives and our jobs here. And it has served a great purpose with us and starting a family and being a stop in this football life that we are a part of. So I think that it has been a really great place for us. And we love little old Richmond. And I'm from a small town, and Jeremy is too. So just the community here and the people here, it has been very good for the both of us.
That's great. I understand that you guys have a daughter. How is she doing? And I got another question after you guys answer. So, but how's she doing? And how old is she now?
Oh, she is doing amazing. She is one on November 17th. She turned one. So she is already in her terrible twos. So
Oh,
she's
yeah.
great.
Who's better at changing the diapers?
I would definitely say probably me. But I will say Jeremy has had his fair share of diaper changing as well.
And would you say she's already a mommy's girl or a daddy's girl?
Well, I'll let you.
So she is definitely a mommy's girl because I can't hold her for more than maybe a minute. And she's like, I don't want to be anywhere near you, Dad. I need my mom. Where's my mom? So she's a mom.
That she looks nothing like me, and she looks 100% like her father. So
Okay.
even playing field,
So, how can my listeners engage with you guys now?
Well, I'm on Twitter. You can always talk to me on Twitter at Coach Hawkins, Coach J Hawkins. That's Coach J Hawkins. That's at Coach J Hawkins. You can contact me there. That's usually the only social media I'm really on. The rest of them are kind of just there.
My Twitter is Crisco94. We joke all the time because I said I'm going to eventually change it to Hey Hawkins, but we're trying to figure that out because I can't be Coach Hawkins because that would be kind of awkward. We would have the same names. But right now it is still just Crisco94. Hopefully one day I can get the check mark like Jeremy. But for now, I'm very basic. But one day maybe I need to just go ahead and change it to Hawkins. Maybe that'll get me the check mark.
And my last question for you guys, and it's a lighthearted question I ask all my guests, and you can have different answers if you want to. But if you guys together could have dinner with one celebrity, who would it be?
For me, I'm a huge LeBron James fan. So if LeBron James, if you're listening,
Oh goodness.
please, I would love to have dinner with you. We can even talk some business. I know you got a lot of money, and I can help you with a little business. On the side. Make sure everything's good for the future, providing for my family. But no, I would definitely love to sit down and talk with LeBron James. He's done so much um, in his community back in his community where he grew up at, and for the community of everybody that's a basketball fan is even not a basketball fan. When you're talking about a guy that started a school that he allows kids to go to for free, he pays for it, and it's a really good education that he's given out to hundreds of kids, and he's been doing it for a few years now, for quite some time. Has his own academy, so it's it would be great to sit down and just kind of pick his brain and see, who has led him to do all these great things for people. Now I get that he has all the money in the world, but you still have to go and have to be a good person to want to basically give money away to people that you don't even know, you know. So I would love to sit down and have dinner and a chat with LeBron James and learn from him how to be as great as him. Just of course I can't be as great as him on the basketball court. I don't think anybody can. I guess Michael Jordan kind of give him something, and Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. Of course, and a couple others. But in my mind, LeBron James for sure.
Okay.
I would definitely say Michelle Obama. I remember watching that documentary on Netflix just about her role being the president's wife and kind of making her own life before the presidential term and then after. And I know many times in the football life, it can be very hard on a coach's wife, but seeing how she was able to get through a whole presidential term times two, it would be great to sit down with her and just kind of see and hear her story and how she was able to do it and still, have herself and define herself while supporting her husband as the president. So that would definitely be my celebrity meal.
Okay. Awesome. I like those answers, guys. Thank you so much for doing this again. It was a lot of fun. You guys gave some great answers. And I'll let you get back to your little terrible two.
Oh yeah.
But you guys have a great night. Thank you again for doing this, and I know my listeners are going to enjoy the episode. So
thank you for having us again.
Thank you so
Really
much.
fun.
all right. Big thank you to Kristen and Jeremy for joining me and sharing some of their stories. Yeah, it's great to see them doing so well at Eastern Kentucky. And even though they aren't here in Alabama, they're still supportive of UAB and part of the UAB family. It was interesting to hear how Jeremy used some of his past experiences to make him, a better coach, and especially in this time of adversity. And I love that they're both passionate about their jobs and helping the next generation. It was really great to hear that. So, thank you guys for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. So be sure to follow my social pages at Dragons Den EFEL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm planning on having a big Friday giveaway sometime in the month of December with some awesome prize packs. So be on the lookout for those. I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe traveling if you're doing so, and be safe cooking that turkey. I hope to see you all on Friday for the final home game against Southern Miss, and any upcoming basketball games this season. So, with all that being said, good night and go Blazers.